Hello everyone, and today we will be explaining the grandfather paradox in terrible MSPaint illustration style. So what is the grandfather paradox? Essentially, this is a time-traveling scenario that leads to a seemingly working contradiction that exists. Now, me personally, I have been fascinated with the prospect of time travel ever since I was like 7, so this is a topic I've thought about a lot, and I'd just like to explain it with you with some terrible illustrations. So let's jump right into it. This is you. So imagine that for some reason you're like, yep, I'm gonna kill my father before I'm ever born. Well, that's good and dandy. However, we have one problem. So let's say this is time-traveling device thing that somehow works. So, the grandfather paradox is essentially where you go back into the past to kill your grandfather or great-grandfather, just someone in the family lineage before you were born. So this leads to a problem. Okay, yep. So if you go to the past, great illustrations of going to the past. Yep, okay. So now we're in the past. And you meet your grandfather. And you try to kill him. And you succeed. So let's say you kill him with a knife. It really doesn't matter how you go about killing him. The important thing is you're in the past, you weren't born yet, and you killed the person who was going to lead to recreation. So in this scenario, we have this person. So we have View. View have daddy issues for some reason. And that means that View, and with those daddy issues, you have now successfully killed him. Hooray! But there is a problem now. And that is, if you killed him, that means that View, yes, View, would no longer exist. And that leads to a problem. If you do not exist, then that means, yes, this means terribly drawn in MSPaint, you. Well, oh my, so, okay, yes, that's better. Okay, will never exist, and if you never exist, that means that you can never go back in time to kill your grandfather, and that means that you do exist, because you have to exist in order to kill him. But if you kill him, then you cannot exist, meaning that you could never go back and kill him in the first place. So that means that there is a couple of potential hypotheses of what could be happening here. One of the proposed solutions is that a time paradox will occur. So essentially what that means is that View, that has a diamond shape now for some reason, because of consistency, of course, will be stuck in a state of existence and non-existence. Because View will be born, and the born View will go back and kill her grandfather, which will mean that you were never born. But since you need to be born in order to do that, it'll just revert between the time of you existing and not existing continuously, so essentially what you end up with is being stuck in a permanent time loop, where your life just keeps on repeating until you kill your grandfather. And that would be quite a terrifying scenario, because there would really be no way to know that you're even in said time loop, just that you're forever slave to it, where you go back in the past to kill her grandfather, but now you can't kill her grandfather because you were never born, because he died before you were born, meaning she never did that, meaning that you do exist. So yeah, kind of confusing, but actually quite simple once you wrap your head around it. Though there is another possible solution. This one is more speculative and not so much based on logic, but rather that there's different timelines. So this is an Earth. Let's say that if you time travel, there was a Earth. Yes, just Great Earth, yeah. Where you did go back in time to kill her grandfather or father or whatever, just a family member related to her existence. And that after that, there's two distinct timelines exist. One where you exist and killed her grandfather, and because of this, there is now a divergent timeline that is very similar to reality, except her grandfather died, and thus you were never born. However, that would mean that there is two timelines that exist. One where you exist, and one where you don't exist. But both would equally be real. This timeline did happen, and you exist in this timeline. And then there's this parallel timeline that is a parallel reality where her grandfather was killed and you never did exist. Though that would ask the question, what on earth happens to you in this scenario? Would you just continue existing and be in a parallel universe? Or would you continue living in this universe as if you were in a time loop, whenever in reality there is two realities that were created from your actions? This is an interesting thought experiment to go through, and there is many different ways to even look at time travel, and you could even argue it's not possible, at least not going back in the past, so maybe all of this is just meaningless rhetoric. Though, time travel is possible, at least whenever going into the future. We know whenever you go about the speed of light, that speed actually slows down for you, meaning that you can go forward in time. Though it is not yet clear whether even going to the past is possible. Perhaps a wormhole could be created in order to bridge 2 points between space and time, or maybe it's just entirely impossible. There really isn't much information on going back in time, and it's really hard to conceptualize because the way that we go forward in time is by approaching near the speed of light, and it's pretty hard to imagine that we could go the opposite of the speed of light, but who knows, anything is possible. So this was the grandfather paradox with some poor illustrations. This has been That Magnet Man, and I sincerely hope you enjoyed the video, as I had a lot of fun making it, and if you did, don't be shy, feel free to comment and like the video, as that would be really appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. This is That Magnet Man, and I'm out. Peace.